What is up, everyone? This is D2 and welcome back to my channel. Want to know how I went from making games that looked like this, to this, then to this, then this, and finally to this? Well, stick around to find out. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a few tips on how to level up quicker as an artist, especially if you're trying to break into the gaming industry. Real quick, for those of you who are new to the channel, I am a 3D artist working at Blizzard and I've been in the industry for a little over a year now. If you like the content on my channel, drop a like and subscribe. I'll be making more gaming industry related content in the near future, so it'll be really cool if you decide to follow along. And without further ado, let's jump straight into my journey of going from noob to pro. Number 1. Use your reference. Learning directly from great games and artists is one of the best ways to improve your artistic skills. I often stare at the environment in Horizon Forbidden West, study character forms in Overwatch, or analyze shaders in Fortnite. By referencing designs in games that are already successful and trying to recreate it, I started to understand better what makes a good and effective game art. For a long time in school, I was always considered at the bottom of my class. Many of my peers were making art that was close to professional level, while I was making art that looked like this. I struggled for a very long time because I would try to create everything 100% from my imagination, yet failed to recognize the fact that I didn't have enough experience to come up with a good design all by myself. It wasn't until later when I started realizing the importance of using references. Gathering references both from photos in real life and games or films that are in the style you're trying to create is a crucial yet often ignored first step that everyone should be doing. Even in a professional workplace, it's almost always necessary to gather references before you start working on a task. To create reference boards, I recommend using PureRef. It's free and super easy to use. Simply copy and paste your images and group them however you like. You can also set it to always show on top of everything else so you don't have to constantly be switching windows to look at them. Link in description if you want to check them out. Number 2. Start small. When working on personal projects, focus on one main objective at a time. This one objective should be simple to start, but difficult to perfect. Try to think about how this project will demonstrate your ability as not only an artist, but also a game developer. For example, it could be, make a highly detailed environment with realistic wind shader, or make a polished first-person rifle model with awesome shooting effects. No matter what you decide on, make sure you're challenging yourself in a way that will help level up abilities you already possess, and also help learn skills that you might not have explored yet. One of my biggest projects, Planet Inidium, was born with one simple objective in mind: to create a beautiful scene in a similar style of Fortnite that players can walk around in. As simple and perhaps a little boring as it was, this idea helped me stay motivated because it was tangible. By focusing on making it as visually appealing as I could, I learned a lot about how to make a good game asset, how to work with PBR or a physically based rendering pipeline, and just overall how to make a game look better. Planet Inidium eventually grew much bigger and better, not only visually but also functionally as a game. This very same project that started with an idea as simple as wanting to make a pretty looking visual art piece eventually grew into a portfolio project that helped me land my first professional job in the industry. I've made a separate video about this, so go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Link at the top right corner of the video and also in the description. Number 3. Pick up derivative skills. This is probably the most important reason that helped me succeed. As a 3D artist, derivative skills such as programming, animation, and shaders not only helped elevate my work to the next level, but also helped me stand out as a well-rounded artist/developer. Picking up derivative skills isn't always as daunting as it sounds. In one of my earlier projects, I wanted to make a miniature treehouse that sits in a glowing mushroom forest. It wasn't meant to be a full-on game project, but I thought having glowing mushrooms that pulsates periodically would be cool. After some googling, I found out that I could do so by multiplying emissive values with a sine wave using Shader Graph in Unity. And even though my first attempt creating a shader wasn't necessarily my best work, it helped me realize the potential of what learning shaders could help me achieve, and thus stimulated my interest to dive deeper into it later on. If you're a character artist, perhaps think about picking up rigging, animation skills. For concept artists, you may also want to be familiar with 3D tools to help with ideation and iterations. For environment artists, like myself, looking into shaders and lighting will help you go a long way. Having derivative skills that are complementary to your main focus helps you stand out more when it comes to job hunting. No matter how big or small the company is, they will always value people who are not only good at what they're hired to do, but also knowledgeable of skills from other disciplines, because this helps minimize communication issues and enhances productivity overall. Number 4. Use a game engine. If you're trying to pursue the 3D route, I would strongly recommend learning at least one game engine, such as Unity or Unreal, because if you're trying to land a job in the industry, you will most likely be directly working within a game engine. Whether it's an off-the-shelf engine like the two I mentioned, or a proprietary engine that your company developed, having a good understanding of how to get your assets to work in the context of a game is always a strong and preferred skill. The first game I ever created was this, a very simple scene that players can walk around in with a chibi model of Cloud from Final Fantasy. I know, super professional looking model, right? Even though this project barely had anything that could constitute a functional game, and wasn't necessarily the most aesthetic looking either, it helped me gain more confidence going into game development and essentially became a foundation of my career. Familiarize yourself with a game engine, learn how to put together a level or environment. Better yet, throw a player controller in it and walk around and see how your models hold up when being inspected close up to the camera. Play around with lighting and post-processing. All of these are super easy to start and will add tons of values to your portfolio. There are already lots of videos out there that help compare between Unity and Unreal. I'm personally more comfortable with Unity and would recommend starting with it if you've never worked with a game engine before, but feel free to research more into the two and see which one you prefer. Number 5. Join a community. One of the best ways to improve quickly is to work with those who are like-minded and just as driven. Although working alone can be a great learning experience, working with others, specifically those who can help cover your shortcomings, can often help you improve exponentially faster. When finding people to collaborate with on my project, Planet Nidium, I specifically looked for those who were good at programming and designing, both of which I was not experienced at. Like I said, I really wasn't the best artist at school and had a very limited knowledge of programming, so I invited my peers who were great at concepting and scripting to be a part of the project. Within 1.5 years of development, Planet Nidium went from looking like this when I was working on it solo to this when we wrapped it up at the end of its development. And with the help of my friends who designed visuals like these, I was able to work with them to translate their 2D concepts into 3D game models. I also learned a lot from my programming friends about scripting overall and became self-sufficient when it comes to implementing my art into games. If you don't know anyone else who can collaborate with you, I recommend looking into game development clubs in schools, joining online game dev communities, and signing up for public game jams. There you will find many like-minded people and will be able to learn a lot just by talking to them. Obviously, you still want to put in time on your own to practice art fundamentals such as shape language, composition, color theory, and so on. But being in a community will definitely help accelerate your learning process. I included a list of communities in the description that was helpful to my career. Feel free to check it out if you're interested. So there you have it. These are the 5 main actions I took to become a professional game artist in 3 short years. Comment down below a tip that helped you level up so we can all learn from one another. Most importantly, like and subscribe. It's a small action from you, but a huge help for the channel. And with that said, I'll see you all next time. Peace!